Today, we're going to build something amazing together. It's not a machine made of metal and it doesn't need batteries or buttons. It starts with just one simple thing, a square piece of paper. But by the time we're done, that paper will be more than just paper. It will be something that moves, that listens, that talks, something that knows how to play a game with you, and maybe even tell your future. We're going to make a paper fortune teller. But this isn't just about folding paper. It's about understanding how simple things can work together to make something powerful. So let's slow down and look at each step, like scientists, like inventors, like people who want to know how things really work. Let's begin with that square piece of paper. Before it becomes anything magical, it's just a flat, quiet surface. It doesn't move, it doesn't tell you anything, but it's full of possibility. You can fold it, change its shape, give it a job. Now imagine a pair of hands, your hands, ready to fold it. You are the folder, the one who brings the paper to life. And when you fold it, carefully, one crease at a time, something new appears. A shape with corners and pockets and little flaps you can open and close. You, the paper, and the folded shape. None of these things can work alone. You need all three. The paper needs your hands. Your hands need a plan, and the folded shape only appears when both come together. That's the beginning of the system. It's like a team. Each part helps the others become something more. Now we keep folding. You might make one corner, then another. You flip it, fold it again. Maybe the first time it's tricky. Your folds aren't perfect, it's a little wobbly. But the more you do it, the more your hands start to remember. And here's what's cool. As the paper starts to look more like a fortune teller, it starts to teach you. It tells your fingers where the next fold should go. It helps guide the shape. So the paper teaches you while you're shaping it, and you get better every time. That's how learning works. The more you try, the more the thing you're working on helps you figure it out. It's a loop. You shape the paper, and the paper shapes you. Eventually, after all those folds, you reach a moment. You slip your fingers underneath, into the little pockets, and suddenly, it moves. The paper opens and closes like a mouth, like wings flapping, like a tiny machine. Now the paper isn't just a folded shape, it's a tool you can control. But here's something to notice, the paper doesn't move by itself. It needs you. If no one touches it, it just sits there, quiet, waiting. So it's a tool that only works when someone interacts with it. It needs a user, it needs action, and that's a special kind of tool, one that depends on its user to come alive. Now it's time to add something more, meaning. You take a marker or a pencil and you start writing. On the outside flaps, you might write colors, red, blue, green, yellow. Inside you write numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. And under the final flaps, you write fortunes. You'll have an amazing day, or beware of falling spaghetti. Suddenly, this folded paper becomes more than just a shape. Now it talks. It doesn't speak out loud, but it tells stories, little messages that only appear when you play the right way. That means your choices, what words you write, what numbers you add, create a path inside the toy, a path someone else will follow. That's how it works, like a game or a story with doors and hallways. You're building a maze made out of paper and words. So now we play. Someone picks it up and says, I choose blue. You move the paper in and out as you spell B-L-U-E. Then you ask, pick a number. They say 3, more movement, more flaps. And finally, pick again. And when they do, you lift a flap. And there it is. Their fortune. Their tiny surprise. This is when the system really comes together. The person makes a choice. The paper responds with motion. And a message is revealed. It doesn't work unless all the parts work together. The user's choice, the rules for moving the flaps, and the message itself, they're all part of the same story. That's what makes it a complete system. That's what makes it feel magical. But wait, there's something more going on, something even deeper. Have you ever noticed that people don't just use the fortune teller for fun? Sometimes they ask it a real question. They might whisper, will I win the game tomorrow? Or, does my secret crush like me? Then they play. And when the message is revealed, they stare at it for a second. Maybe they laugh. Maybe they say, I knew it. What's happening here is a kind of ritual. The user puts a little of themselves into the game. They ask something they care about. They treat the fortune like it matters, even if they know it's just for fun. The message doesn't stand alone. It only has meaning because of the question that came before and the way the paper was used to reach it. It's not just reading a message, it's performing the whole system. You can't separate the question from the action from the answer. They come as one. And that's where the paper fortune teller becomes more than just a game. Now let's imagine a moment. Maybe you've seen this happen before. Someone picks up the fortune teller and asks it something real. Will I get picked for the team? Then they play, following every step carefully. Color, number, number again. And when the flap opens, it says, yes, you will succeed. They smile. Maybe they believe it. Maybe it just makes them feel good. Why does that little message seem to matter so much? It's because everything lined up at just the right time. The question mattered. The playing felt real. The answer seemed to fit. That's called harmony. Not the musical kind, but the kind that happens when intention, action, and outcome all match up. When what you want, what you do, and what you get feel connected, like a little moment of magic that makes perfect sense. That's when the paper fortune teller stops feeling like a toy and starts to feel like something true. Now imagine you're not alone. You're with friends on the playground. One of you made the fortune teller, another one picks it up and starts using it. But neither of you needs instructions. You both already know how it works. That's convergence. That's when the rules are shared, even if no one speaks them out loud. You all know that when someone says red, you open and close the flaps. You all know that when the fortune appears, you're supposed to read it like it means something. The paper fortune teller becomes a shared world, a game everyone understands. That's how it spreads. That's how it lives. It's no longer just a thing you make. It becomes something people do together, using the same logic, the same motion, the same meanings. It's a system passed from hand to hand, across schools, across time. You might not even remember where you first learned it, but somehow you just know. But systems like this don't just stay the same forever. People start to get creative. One kid writes silly fortunes. You will eat a worm. Another turns it into a dare machine. Do 10 jumping jacks. Someone folds it a different way. Someone adds colors that sparkle. Someone writes a whole story across the flaps. Now, the original design is being changed and remixed, but it still works. The same structure allows for variation, for creativity. It holds together even when the parts are playful or weird. That's one of the most powerful things a system can do. Stay strong and flexible. It's like a recipe that lets you change the ingredients, but still make something delicious. The paper fortune teller becomes a platform, a base for invention. And through these playful changes, the fortune teller grows, not just in how it looks, but in what it can mean. Have you ever noticed how certain choices feel like they already mean something? Maybe you pick red and think of love, or you pick 7 and hope it's lucky, or you read the word yes and feel like the universe just agreed with you. That's because the words and numbers you choose are full of associations, meanings that live in your head before the game even starts. The paper doesn't know what red means, but you do. You bring the meaning with you. So when the fortune lines up with your choice, it feels like more than chance. It feels like a message that was already waiting for you. The paper fortune teller becomes part of your imagination. It uses the words and ideas you already carry and turns them into tiny surprises. It plays with your expectations. And sometimes it answers in a way that feels like it knows you. That's not magic. That's your mind making connections. But that's what makes it feel alive. Now imagine this. You've used the fortune teller a lot, not just once, but many times. You've made them, played them, shared them, laughed at them, believed them. Over time, something happens. You start to remember which choices work. Maybe red always seems to give good answers. Maybe odd numbers feel luckier. Maybe the fortunes begin to shape how you see your day. You might not even realize it, but the game has become part of how you think. It's not just paper anymore, it's part of your pattern. A tiny system of hopes and habits that lives inside you now. You don't need the paper to feel the shape of the game, you carry it with you, in the way you make choices, in the way you wait for results, in the way you connect things that happen to the choices you made earlier. That's called internalization. The fortune teller becomes not just a thing you play, but a way you make sense of things. And that's the most magical part of all. So, what have we made? We started with a square of paper. We folded it, shaped it, gave it symbols and secrets. We played with it, believed in it, shared it, and changed it. And in doing all that, we created something much bigger than a toy. We built a system that connects action, meaning, and imagination. A system that teaches us how choices matter, how patterns work, and how stories can be hidden in the smallest corners of ordinary things. A paper fortune teller may not really know your future, but it shows you something even better: how your own thoughts, your own hopes, and your own ideas can shape the world you play in. It's not magic, it's logic, turned into a game, and that's something worth believing in.